Excited to see this deck here and how it plays out. The new Centur-ION deck from Valiant Smashers has a really cool sort of mini, I want to say like one-card combos and interactions that Centur-ION can put up, coupled with this super heavy Samurai engine. But before we get ahead of ourselves here, Viktor will be starting us off with the branded strategy, beginning with deploying the troops. It's fusion deployment, revealing Guanganol, and this will get you Cartesia from the deck here.
What do you guys think of this choice right now, branded? How does it lines up?
Branded is a deck that's been around a couple of years now, I think. It's had a lot of different iterations and versions. We've seen Chimera, we've seen more pure. Suffers from the same issues, I think, that it's always done, which is branded fusion is the centrifugal force of the deck. And if you stop a branded fusion, then the deck kind of really struggles. But I guess we'll get to see this archetype in full glory now as we are resolving branded fusion plus fusion deployment. This should end on quite a formidable setup here from Viktor. Let's see what he makes for us today.
I think this is one of the most difficult deck, in my opinion, to play, because you have so many plays sometimes that you really have to be careful. We saw previously this year at the same venue, Branded Despia got top 4 at the National Championship.
Oh, that's a big DD Crow in the main. So Albion using the ability to go into a using a fusion monster material. Fallen of Albaz is the key component to all of the important extra deck pieces of Branded, most notably Mirror Jade. And by hitting the Fallen of Albaz, that's a big hit here.
Unexpected, honestly.
Yeah, in the main deck for sure, but we mentioned it, when you play super heavy samurais, you obviously need a lot more monsters in your deck, and what can you put in? Cards like Diddy Crow, and works out for now.
Viktor's deciding here whether or not he wants to chain this Cartesia to the Albion, get it in the graveyard so then it banishes itself. It gets a little bit more value that way. But it looks like he might just be choosing to resolve this chain here, as that Fallen of Albaz might be getting banished.
Oh.
But nope, he is in fact choosing to declare the effect of Cartesia.
Sure.
Yeah, so we've seen this sort of advantage generation that Branded can do quite well for a while now. Albion hitting the grave allows you to get a spell and trap from the deck in the end phase, and looks like we're using our hand here with the Cartesia.
Yeah, and the ad libitum is actually pretty good here. Let's see.
So this resolves here, Diddy Crow gets banished, and now we have to resolve the Albion on the new chain here.
Which still, I think it's, I mean, it's not the end of the war for Viktor, but, you know, getting rid of the Fallen of Albaz, this is something that you were not expecting at all. Especially because, like, I think he has the Crossout Designator as well.
Yeah, Crossout is a card that has been incorporated and Branded for a while, because that's just how important it is to hit Ash Blossom.
Yeah.
Oh, a Veiler on the Granganol as well.
Okay.
All right.
And another Crow.
Another Crow on the Albion. Triple hand trap out here. Diddy Crow arguably one of the better hand traps against Branded outside of Ash.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, this is rough because we had that really cool setup with the Libellion for the Albion being brought back from Libitum, but now the Libitum won't be bringing this back, and on top of that, the Albion won't be getting the end phase effect. So this is a little rough here. Did we resolve Granganol to send from deck?
No, it got Vadered. So.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
my God! Even then it beat.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is.
And I mean, Centur-ION just needs pretty much a card to
One
combo.
card starter deck. Yeah, you have like 12 starters in Centur-ION. So if we draw any of them, then you can set up your, well, there's a couple of versions. I suppose we'll see exactly what Matteo can come up with here.
What a start.
Token is going to be quite massive, as we have 2 fusions hitting the grave here. And 1 set.
You can tell that Viktor is not happy with it.
I don't think it's very often you receive 4 hand traps. That's a lot. There's not a lot of decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! That can play through 4.
Yeah. Especially Diddy Crow, because as you mentioned, I think against, you know, Branded is huge.
Yeah. Denying a lot of those powerful fusion effects, the Miracle Fusion style of the Albion being denied, Albion's end phase effect being denied. Okay, actually, we still get to resolve the Quem.
Yeah, banishes
here.
the Grand Guignol to special summon it from the deck, and now can use the effect of Quam.
Yeah, so locked into fusions, not able to use her ability as a tuner, but it is still gonna get you some kind of value potentially. I'd be very impressed. Like if Viktor makes anything valuable here, I'll be like extremely impressed because that's 4 disruptions. And using her effect here to send the Branded Retribution. Branded Retribution can then recycle the Branded Fusion back to your hand for the next turn, assuming we do get to a next turn.
Yeah,
but
that's about it.
All right, 2 cards in hand from Matteo. We only need 1 to get our Centur-ION engine popping off.
And even any of the super heavy, you know, they are also 1-card combos, so that could be good. Let's see. Okay,
Centur-ION, stand up.
That's a pretty good one. Is there a response? Nope.
Yeah, that's the 1-card starter engine. This is why Centur-ION does really well. Activating the effect here, placing from the deck into the spell and trap zone. It is a very sort of obscure kind of mechanic that Centur-ION utilizes. It is a deck which puts monsters from the deck to the spell and trap zone. It actually circumvents Ash Blossom quite well. Deck is decent at playing through disruption, and so kind of like the hero monsters of Faris and combination with Increase in the way it works.
Kind of like Infernity, but you gotta be a little old to understand this one.
Interesting reference. Yeah, okay, so you can also do cool plays by manipulating your levels with the Centur-ION monsters. This is why this deck has the level 12 as the sort of boss monster, but also lets you go into things like Crimson Dragon. And it's very rare that Crimson Dragon, or sorry, rather Hot Red Archfiend, is used in decks that doesn't afford you a lot of like bricks in your main deck.
No, it's definitely a powerhouse, and I was surprised again when we had a look at the deck breakdown that it wasn't as popular as other choices. Ooh,
Super Polymerization.
The last card is Super Polymerization. Wow.
That's really funny that we had Cross out the whole time for 4 hand traps and it just wasn't live because he doesn't play any of those cards. If any of it was Ash Blossom, he would have been a lot happier actually, but okay.
Yeah, Super Polymerization.
Using the Quem and the Quaratus here. And I think if that last card in hand isn't a Wakaushi, then it's going to be quite hard for Matteo
He's
to do
completely
much.
out of cards now.
Does he have 1 in hand? Oh, because you have to discard for the...
you have to discard for the field spell, and he discarded the Fenrir, so he's pretty much left with what we can see. Some Centurion's deck play like you know, and Dark in the actual deck. Does he play any of the Charmers? Maybe try and link... no.
No, it doesn't.
Let's see.
Typhon, interesting. Typhon seems like a card that's actually really good against Branded because there's a lot of high-level fusion monsters that it can deny the effect being used. Choosing to send away the token with the Star Slayer and back to the extra, or returning away token, just it going invisible, I suppose. And we're just going to keep the Quaratus on the field here. And it doesn't really do too much in itself, but we do have the Retribution next turn. And that's going to get Branded Fusion back in flow. So despite everything that Viktor has had thrown at him, he's still kind of in this, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I mean, good for Viktor because like the Super Poly here really helped him out a lot because here now he's back in play.
Absolutely, and although he shouldn't be taken for granted, as you can see here, one of the key cards this weekend will be the Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis. Great card.
Seen this a couple times on stream already, and all it requires as a summoning condition is that your opponent summon 2 monsters from the extra deck on the previous turn, similar to Zeus in the sense that it is an Xyz that you put on top of anything, and then based on the conditions, it summons itself. It's Zodiacs really have changed, haven't they?
You could say that.
There's the Branded Fusion. No cards remaining from Matteo here, and Viktor is going to pull off quite an impressive turn here, I feel, with all of this graveyard available to him. Tragedy as well. That's going to be able to search for a Alibar potentially as his normal summon as we go into Lebellion, discarding the top-decked Super Poly, it looks like. Yeah, so that's going to be able to recycle any of the fusions in the graveyard, go into Mirror Jade, and on top of that, the Tragedy gives you the search of that Alabar.
Which I think is good news for Viktor, because basically Matteo is left at top deck. And I mean, after the start that we saw with double Crow Veiler and Nibiru,
Libellion recycling from the banish cards is really incredible. Libellion just gives you like that grind game that Branded is so good at. If you can get through the initial hurdle of the turn 1, making sure that you push through your Branded fusion, as well as coupled with Cartesia, gives you some options here, as we are seeing Viktor masterfully playing this Despia deck up into the Mirror Jade, the most formidable boss monster in Despia, as we've got the Alabar coming down as well. So much power here. There's also the Branded in red, recycling the Albaz in the grave if we need to, going into another fusion. I'm genuinely impressed that he's managed to come back through this, through 4 hand traps.
Great showcase, honestly, And now we can move to the battle phase. We have access
What's
to
Typhon's defense? Is it 3,000?
29.
Is it 29? Just small enough. Mirror Jade can attack over it now. It's back online here.
I think this may be enough.
Yeah, no, it's Mirror Jade banish plus the Branded in red in the hand here. Like, that's just enough with the disruption. I don't think this is enough for 8,000 though, is it?
No, the issue is whatever you use with the red also cannot attack directly.
Yeah, exactly. So this right here is all he can do damage with.
I thought he could have if you basically you attack with the first one and then you use red and you
attack into the monster
with the one that you summon with. Maybe that was enough, but still, this is plenty of advantage.
Wow, unbelievable! Scoops it up here. Matteo losing despite 4 disruptions being thrown at Viktor here. That is an incredible display of Branded by Viktor. Wow. Let's head back on over to the table and talk about that game 1. In just a moment. Right, production? All right, so let's talk a little bit about going into game number 2 here.
Absolutely. As mentioned, game 1 all the way down, but now things are quite different. It will be the combo deck going first. We'll see whether he opens up some of these super heavy samurais. And I mean, we can expect those DD Crows to stay in the deck for sure. Amazing in the matchup, we mentioned it. And usually a combo deck doesn't side that much going first. What do you guys think?
No, I mean, honestly, there's a Solemn Judgment which he might side in and then bring out the Nibiru. Just, you know, he's going first, so I really see them coming in, honestly. Just a generic card. And
yeah, I think, as you mentioned, his main deck is pretty well suited for going first. A lot of hand traps, but they're fine to just keep in, honestly. Solemn Judgment, as you said, is good enough, and we'll see just exactly if we can set up that Crimson Dragon combo and also utilizing the super heavy samurais, try and get a little bit of a display of what exactly that provides for the Centurion archetype.
On the other end, though, obviously Centurion, although not as popular as we expected, was a deck that our duelist this weekend prepared for. And this is exactly the same case for Viktor, who has quite a few tools, right?
Yeah, it's... in this matchup specifically, I mean, it's hard to really play through a Calamity, I think, is maybe like the issue, right?
It's, you need to prevent it, kind of like.
Exactly.
I think he might side in the other 2 Saroniers, because against Centurion, all the bestials are very powerful. And if he feels like he could also sign in the other 2 copies of Ash Blossom, as you were mentioning, so...
Yeah, that could be the case. Phantasmai, maybe, I mean, only if he sees maybe the super heavy, but it's mostly going to be used for synchros, so not really the case in this matchup. But our duelists are ready, so let's jump back into game 2.
Lots of one-card starters available here for Matteo, and let's see just exactly what he can do with this Centurion strategy. Both players drawn up to 5, starting game number 2 here, and I think you might feel a little bit shaken, right? If I drop 4 hand traps on my opponent and have a starter, like that sounds like a bit of a custom hand, and still losing. That's rough.
Oof, but this is a great start. The best Arguably the best, but alongside Bike, yeah, one of the best super heavy cards to open with. Let's see if there is a response on the other side. Not much can interact with this, just Ghost Ogre mainly.
Wakaushi is the scale effect of the Super Heavy Samurai, one of the more recent support cards, being able to get out that big Benkai from the deck and facilitate some rank 4 plays, potentially. Or, of course, in this matchup specifically, we'll be most likely using them for synchros, so
yeah,
let's see what you can do here.
A lot of different options available. And interestingly enough, he goes to search one of the extenders of the deck. Maybe not going for that normal summon and using it for the Centurions. Let's see.
Soul Gaia searched out here as we target the Wakaushi to equip it from our hand here.
Yep.
And then that can, I think, special summon itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Be great to hear, you know, the story of, you know, mixing these cards with the new coming Centurions, no?
I think when you're a big fan of Super Heavy Samurai and you lost the Link 1,
yeah,
you take any excuse to play this archetype again. Here's our first synchro here.
Yeah, this is a very nice combo. This allows you to special summon your scale, which it instantly gives you 2 level 8s. This was played, for example, by Federico Mecozzi back in the Dragon Slayer strategy in Dorman, where it was played for a different purpose. But in this case, yeah, it allows you to either go for a Synchro level 12, as this is gonna happen now, and this is a very, very nice card. Yeah, and this gives you access to the Centurion engine.
As if this deck needed more consistency here, drawing off of the Centurion, and yeah, I mean, it's amazing just how much one single card can do in this deck.
Yeah,
and that is exactly what the story is. One card combos, cool interactions and synergies crossing over between the decks to give you that consistency. That's the emblem.
Yeah, emblema.
Seems as Viktor hasn't faced yet any other single Centurion deck so far.
Might be reading them for the first time today.
But still, we've mentioned it. I mean, we were expecting, you know, more players relying on this deck this weekend, and maybe we will see others tomorrow. But you know, so far, I think Viktor's strategy is paying off. So
beautiful synergy being displayed here between the two decks. One of the coolest things is just being able to play an archetype as a sort of combo deck that gives you so many different crossover plays, in the sense that one engine gets you to the other one.
Oh, but he drew the one off, so now he's gonna most likely go for the usual starting combo, but he already has access to the level 12, which is interesting, because now you should be careful about your cards getting... You can get hit by a very strong Nibiru from your opponent, and that would hurt.
Yeah, one of the advantages of Centurion is it can kind of act a little bit more mid-rangey and just on 4 summons, summon your big synchro, and then leave it there. But we're going to keep going with Primera here. Get the Tridea out of the deck, special summon, and see what we make from there. I don't know what you would really go for once you've already made the synchro.
Yeah.
But get a nice little display here of the deck by Matteo as we get the reborn of the deck, the recursion. And this is what gives you so much follow-up, actually, in Centurion. You have this constant one-card flowing engine, gives you resources out of the graveyard, placing them into the spell and trap zone. And yeah, it's very hard to sometimes cut this deck off once it gets going.
Yeah, because usually Centurion ends up on the Legacy, and then in the end phase you bring back one of your pieces, and in your opponent's main phase you're able basically to synchro summon one monster. But let's see if he wants to overextend this and having another piece on the field as well.
Yeah, the field spell is such an important part of the deck here, because that's what allows you to synchro on your opponent's turn. Just if a monster is special summon, that includes your Centurions out of the spell and trap zone. That's what gets you into your opponent's turn here. So the reason we have to go for the spell from the deck here is that because we drew the Emmet, we need to bring it out of the graveyard. And there it is, Crimson Dragon.
Interesting. So it goes for it, and
yeah, because you basically have access to 2 Crimson Dragons this way. One during your turn, one during your opponent's turns. And usually they can go for a few other options. Sometimes the Blazer Dragon is the one you open with. Let's see, but there is a Bestial Chained.
You steal Druid's Worm, actually kind of huge here, denying the Primura from coming back on the following turn here. That's going to deny Matteo the rest of the engine.
You said the Blazer.
Cosmic Blazar is particularly good against a branded strategy, since spells and traps are heart and soul of branded. Using the Blazar to deny a branded fusion potentially is going to be massive. All right, looks like Viktor's only been playing mirror matches in his testing.
so far. Also during this tournament, maybe.
You're going to read all of these Centur-ION cards here. Yeah, so the Cosmic Blazar is some synchro support we've seen for Synchrons, I guess, in a way, ever since Junk Speeder was released and utilized as an engine here for the Crimson Dragon. There's no point in using all of these crazy tuners and special summons if you can just tag into it, really.
Just need one and then that's it, no?
Makes life so much easier.
So I think he's ending. Yeah, I think he's going to end phase, maybe. No, not yet.
Oh, by the way, yes, we did all of this without normal summoning. That's cool. It's normal summoning the motorbike now. So what are we going to do with the motorbike here? We need to deal with Druid's Worm, but Druid's Worm hits the graveyard from the field, going to send a special summon monster, so...
I think it would be nice, because then in the end phase he can bring back the Emmet, and then... he's not playing the Chaos Angel, though.
8 plus the 2 on the opponent's turn here. We'll see what he goes into. Probably quick synchro into maybe Baron. Is that possible?
Because he's missing the tuner, right? Oh no, but there's a motorbike is tuner. So yeah, I think it's Baron, right? I think that's the only one he's playing in the extra deck.
Sure.
Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense, though. Yeah.
All right, Viktor drawn for turn here, 5 in hand. Let's see how we're going to tackle this. A lot to deal with. And maybe putting the Legatia in defense might have been potentially worth it. Since worst case scenario, if you really want to, you can try and go Druid's Worm Crash and then force out Blazar. Making some plays here with Viktor, thinking through the options that's available to him, because yeah, this is quite a hard field to crack here. We've opened Lebellion, that's a good start. Get into the Bistio engine. We've already denied Primera. So far so good on Viktor's side.
Yep.
Check it to see if we've got any targets here. Don't really play the Magnemut despite how popular the engine is. Because in this deck, Saronir is so much more important. Giving you all the resources directly from the deck here into the graveyard.
Yeah, and there it's the Baron we talked about.
Yeah, Baron the floor, Omni negate, Blazar Dragon, Spell and Trap negate. It's going to be a lot to try and deny here. Let's see what we can do. Forcing out potentially now, because Lebellion gets to bring itself out of the graveyard here. It's really good that we started with the Lebellion as our first action, because the special summon effects of the Centurions are only main phase.
Yeah.
So it doesn't allow you to shotgun into Baron or anything. You do get your first action relatively for free.
You could even negate this if you wanted with the Blazer, the summon, I mean.
Yeah.
For now, yeah, it's just gonna use the Baron and the effect of Druid's Worm.
Yeah, the issue is the summoning requirement of the Lebellion is always going to trigger the Druid's Worm regardless of what happens. So forcing out that Baron there, having to use the negate to keep itself on the field, and we're going to keep going here. We've got Fusion Deployment revealing Albion, special summon out of the deck here. And that is going to get us Fallen of Albaz.
Yep. And to this, we are also going to be forced to change something.
Yeah, Fallen of Albaz gets to use the Blazar Dragon as a material.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should first use the effect, right?
Yeah.
Is he discarded for cost?
No.
Did we...
Right?
There's a deployment in the graveyard. Was it a second deployment he discarded?
No.
Okay. Oh, he's just contact fusing with the dragon, isn't he?
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
Okay, makes
No,
sense.
no, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Ooh, that's
I
huge.
see.
Wow, we didn't see this coming.
Yeah,
That's
Lenatus,
huge.
it's been a while here. People usually have the fear when playing Dragon Link as an example. You can't just set Albaz
That's so big.
Yeah.
and then contact fuse a dragon off of the field here. So summoning Albaz, no effect. Contact fusing using your opponent's field, summoning the Lenitas into the normal summon. Aliber trying to get into the branded fusion, but Valor is huge.
Yeah, the Valor is huge, but that was a crazy line because he could have negated the deployment.
Yeah.
And the Cosmic Blazer was so hard to out, but now it's gone.
Yeah, one of the most.
Especially, I mean, I don't see you see that coming, no? Like,
Yeah, I guess maybe it's hard to really detect here, but at the same time, I think like it's probably too late when you realize, wait a minute, why are they not discarding?
Yeah, when
with
you
Albaz?
realize it becomes obvious, you know, it's one of those things, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
one of the most powerful types of removal in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is contact fusing, tributing. That's why Kaijus, Lava Golem have always been really good. And, well, if you just get to contact fuse with your opponent's field here, you don't have to worry about any of the card effects.
Yep.
Now, the problem is, how do you access any fusion plays? We have used the Albaz as a material, but if we don't have something like Cartesia access, maybe a branded in red, and I don't think we have branded fusion, that might have been used very quickly already.
But I think, yeah, now that plays back to Matteo, there is
just not enough.
Yeah, for now it's just gonna push
Clear
some damage.
Yeah, just clear the whole field, and Viktor's in a rough spot here because now the Baron, while is only usable once while on the field, we can tag into for more resources on the opponent's standby phase, and that's going to generate further follow-up here unless Viktor can find something big off the top.
Because he could also just, use it in the standby phase, right, to send back something and special summon from the grave, something that could be more useful than the Baron, but I think he passed. Wow, and there's an Ash.
as well. All right, let's see if we get punished by top-decking branded fusion right now.
Are we using the Baron? Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
You're using the standby, and this way you can get back the...
Motorbike can remake it in the main phase.
Yep. Just make it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when a monster special summon triggers stand up back into Baron once while on the field.
Well played.
Now we're tagging back in here.
Well played by Matteo here with this wiki Baron coming back.
Yeah, Viktor is in a real tricky spot right now. Branded lost. Okay.
This is an interesting one, no? Because you cannot negate the branded fusion if it resolves, right? So.
Yeah, branded loss is extremely crazy because it denies the. It works as like sort of like magical meltdown for anyone who played a couple years ago. The protection of your fusion summon being negated, and also on top of that, on the summon of your fusion monster, your opponent can't activate any cards. So you can use like your sort of turn player priority on the summon of your fusion, activate Mirror Jade, your opponent can't respond. Really powerful interaction in branded. Ooh, normal summon Albaz. We're using the effect here. And I assume branded loss doesn't protect Albaz. Discards the Saronir, attempts to fuse with the opponent's field. Yeah, it looks like you actually can't respond with the lost here, so that is insulating the Albaz from the Baron we remade there, and then here's the Mirror Jade. And again, as mentioned, he could choose to use this on summon.
This is big, yeah.
Oh, he does play Magnamon, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's playing 3 plus... Should just move 1 Magna, 1 Saronir, yeah.
Sends Retribution, and adds the Albion, and then the Albion can send the branded fusion.
Yeah.
And now we have access to branded fusion.
This.
Oh wow, he's really
insane.
turned it around. That branded loss was massive. Gets to get the draw here. Branded Retribution, banish, add back branded fusion, activate branded fusion. Another Ash Blossom. That's so unfortunate. 2 Ashes, 2 turns in a row.
But I think Matteo is left without any cards, right? In end?
Yeah, I don't think he's got too many resources.
No, I think he's got 0 in hand, and yeah, this is still huge.
Yeah, the Benkai is not doing too much in this game, is it?
Yeah. Even if you just send this and set the Brenner in red in the end phase, I think this is totally fine.
Just checking here to see if there's anything in the graveyard that we can use to manipulate, but it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of options available to Matteo. That one-off branded loss coming in so clutch here. Yeah, and as you mentioned, he's going for that Albion in the graveyard, which is going to be able to provide more follow-up, more resources, or disruption, depending on what Matteo does on his turn here.
I mean, it's considering it, but I think that's the best option to go for. Yeah, he sends the Albion. Yeah.
Deals 3,000 points of damage with the Mirror Jade. Sets a card as well.
Okay.
I don't think we know what that is it?
No, we don't know. It might be an impermanence.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, and there is the Brandon in red, which makes this so tough. And yeah, I don't know what can save Matteo. He has already done through so many of his
Have we seen Viktor before at a YCS on Branded at a feature match? It feels very familiar. But he's made such an incredible display of the deck. He's actually making Branded look good. Sorry, that came out wrong. He's making Branded look very good. Yeah. Yeah, 2 set cards into top deck. Based on his face here, Matteo's looking a little glum right now.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do?
Not really sure we've top decked anything useful here.
Maybe simply passed.
Oh yeah, actually, potentially. We don't have the table audio, unfortunately, so we don't know what the players are saying to each other, but there is a world where this is just passing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks like that is indeed what he's doing here.
Yeah, and that's it. So
Viktor draw it to
plays
normal
back.
Oliver. Huge.
Kind of slammed into the table and
Add an Oliver, normal summon Oliver, add the Branded Fusion. No negations because of loss, send the Albaz, and yeah, we just need to do 5,000 points of damage here. We got 48 on the field already, so. Send Libitum, going through the motions here. And our fusion of choice is Lebellion, discard, recycle from the graveyard, make a Masquerade, whatever you like, you know, just having fun at this point.
Maybe just avoid the 5th summon, and that's it.
Yeah, this is 3, I guess. Even 4 with Libitum if we really want to. Recycle the Albion and the Albaz. Yeah, so Borrowload Furious Dragon is how we're going to end this one out here. And Viktor has taken this 2-0 with the Branded strategy, making this deck look so powerful through 4 disruptions we saw in that game 1.
Absolutely.
4 hand traps. I mean,
what a
still
show
winning.
off. I mean, honestly, navigating through 4 hand traps, I think we've never seen it, honestly. I mean, 4 hand traps and 1 piece of engine. I mean, congrats.
And not just that, because as you mentioned, 2 completely different games. The same ending. Game 1, he was met with multiple DD Crows in the main deck, Nibiru, and then still managed to come out on top. Game 2, he faced a very strong opening from his opponent, including that Cosmic Blazer, and I gotta say the MVP was that Fusion Deployment, which you know, we thought he was gonna go for the Albus effect. Instead, he was
I think the main turnaround there was maybe the Baron should have been used on the deployment, right?
Most likely, but yeah, that Alba Lenatus was the MVP for him.
Yeah.
You know, that cheeky, as you mentioned, Coctant Fusion, Chimera Deck Fortress-like effect, buff for dragons.
That's an old school reference.
Yeah, absolutely. I am old. And that worked.
That's not what I meant.
No. That's what I meant. And yeah, that worked out great. And 8-0. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
impressive.
incredible. Yeah.
Impressive.
Regardless,
Very
he's
good.
safe to walk into day 2. They both were, because they both were 7-0. But, you know, 8-0 is incredible. And if he wins this one out, he might be guaranteed a place in the top cut regardless. Usually, we mentioned it, like 9-3 might not be enough. Usually 9-1-2 is what you need. But, like, if you go 9-0, chances are you are the one that you will sneak into the top cut, we could say. But yeah, it was definitely an exciting match, and I suggest any of you guys, if you've missed any of the action, to later on go back and watch it. But one more round remaining for the day, guys.
One last round for us here, and yeah, I'm excited. Maybe we'll get another new deck we haven't
Yeah,
seen.
I mean,
on
we have
stream.
seen 8 different ones, and why not?
Have we seen Cybers yet?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
we'll
we
get some Cybers action.
Absolutely.
You know,
I mean,
that's what we're missing now. Flats.
we had
So
a
many viable decks. So many things we could potentially see. So
We had a 48% others, so we can see a bunch
Lot
of
of
different
others.
decks for
Yeah.
sure throughout the weekend. And I can tell you that I was you know, walking through the top tables in the last round, and I've seen a bunch of stuff. So yeah, for sure we can see some of them still in. And again, as mentioned, they pretty much guarantee next 2 record to make it to day 2 safely, I would say. But obviously more and more duelists are gonna advance to day 2. But these, I feel like, will be the rounds that matter the most. Like we have discussed a few times with Alberto, but I feel like last round of day 1 might be the hardest, because it's the one that you play at the latest hours regardless throughout the entire weekend, and I think, you know, your mental focus really pays in, and it's not for everybody, I think.
I think it really is, you know, when you go XO on day one, it sort of gives you that massive sort of cushion for day two, because you just need to win one game to lock it.
Absolutely.
So it's very safe if he can make it one more.
But regardless, Viktor will be guaranteed a spot in the issue, but let's hear it from him. The Despia Master, 8-0 with the deck. Ed is ready. Let's interview him.
Thank you, Marcello. I am here with Viktor Ivanov, who just won that round 8 feature match. Now 8-0 here at YCS Bologna. Congratulations. You were just telling me, not only is that your first ever feature match, but you picked up Yu-Gi-Oh! For this kind of level of Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2019.
Yeah, I picked up Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2019, then 2 years of COVID hit, so that's kind of sad. But yeah, I've been playing ever since COVID, kind of more competitively. I won Nationals last year. Oh, this year, 2023.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. And yes, so, it's been really fun playing the game. I really enjoy it. And I really love you guys playing, doing so many events, like especially in Europe, because it's really cheap to travel in Europe. So.
Well, we're pleased to have you here, and we're pleased to see you taking that 8-0 feature match. So let's talk a bit about the game, because you were against Matteo, and Matteo had a lot of disruptions that you managed to play around really well. So Matteo had a crazy amount of hand traps, 2 DD Crow, 1 Veiler, 1 Nib in that first game, but you still managed to fight to a win. So talk to us about what's going through your mind when you're seeing that many disruptions so quickly.
I'm actually really happy, like he had 4 hand traps, because if there were just 2 or 3, like my board wasn't gonna get any better, and his hands is going to be even better because he has more engine if he has like 2 or 3, just 2 or 3 hand traps. But having 4 hand traps, I was like, oh, sure, yeah, I can take that. They at a certain point, they just really don't do anything. And yep, he had no engine, so I won.
You did, and then we get into game 2. Pretty much the same. Matteo built a really strong field. You managed to play through everything really confidently, and even the commentators were saying it was such a great display of the branded deck. So
the deck's really good at going second.
So what is it that attracts you to the branded deck, and how, have you been playing that since it came out?
I've been playing the deck for well over 1,000 hours.
You've put in the time.
Yeah, but actually, yeah, well, it's a really good deck. Honestly, it's gonna sound a bit cringy, but I think it's like the best deck for this format, because it has a really good matchup against Enchant, a really good matchup against Rescue Ace, and I figured that's gonna be like the most popular here. I've played 0 Rescue Ace, but I've played 4 Unchained, or 3 Unchained was it, and I've been having a blast playing through Unchained boards. Like, the deck's really good. And I've played it for a while.
I like your enthusiasm, but yeah, you're right. Unchained and Rescue Ace are both 12% each of all the makeup of all the decks here, which is quite a big representation, but it's a really diverse format. So as a result, is there anything that you're worried about with the branded, or are you that confident in your ability with your deck, your 1,000 hours?
Well, I am worried about one particular matchup, but I'm not gonna say on camera, because it's gonna be really bad tomorrow if I match up with someone that playing that deck. He absolutely knows that I'm gonna lose the game.
Okay, well, fair enough. Congratulations, very well done. You've only got 1 more round today of this Swiss. Obviously, they don't have 3 more, but congrats. I hope the final round of today goes well for you and the remainder of Swiss. We may indeed see you in the top cut with that branded deck. Best of luck to you guys. Don't go anywhere. We've got 1 more feature match coming up, but before that, we've got a special little thing that we've been doing on the Friday of these weekends. We record a couple of duels for you, whether it's a speed duel, whether it's Time Wizard formats, but we've done something quite interesting called Dueling Chronicles, which is where we take old YCS finals and reenact exactly the kind of deck battles that were going on. So let's take a look at one of them right now.